Okay, I don't know if I'm online here, and if I am, my apologies for whoever is watching now. Um, 1 second, just have to really make sure that we are working here. I don't see myself on the screen, so this is a little concern. I apologize again to everybody who don't see me. Here is the video, and I think we are on. Good morning to everyone who are watching. This is in the New York time, 10 o'clock and 3 minutes past. So I'm 3 minutes late. Again, my apologies to you. This is really nice to be with you today. And after a little bit of a break period, we are together with You Change the World, and we are also on Zoom in the same time for a reason. You can join me here. And if you have something you can share with everybody, I will be with you and we'll have a discussion. If you want to join, just send me a message on LinkedIn. And in fact, I will have to have this message line open on my phone. So on LinkedIn, you send me and I will a message that you want to join. And if you do want to join, which I really hope one of you wants, because it makes it funnier, we will have a good time. And I will send you a link, and that link will give you what you need. In other words, for joining me, and you will come to a waiting room, and I will let you in. That's the idea. So hopefully, I'll see a message from you soon, asking for me to join, and then I will get you a link for you to join me here on Zoom because it's a Zoom call, but it's in the same time a streaming, a broadcast. And we are right now on multiple channels. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram and Twitter X. We are also on other different things that have to do with podcast. And of course, in all these channels, it is also recording. So when you want to see it later, please come back, or you will come across this opportunity to watch, and I will be able to share with you some ideas because we have a theme each time we meet. Again, the concept of You Change the World, which I want to kind of remind everybody, is as I'm a coach and a certified coach, leading leadership development coach, executive coach, I come across with my clients different situations that you probably are familiar with or going through. So, of course, it's about giving some tips, but sharing more the stories that I hear, that I experience with my clients. And through that, I'm sure there is value for you to listen to or to watch. And the other thing, too, is that why the title, You Change the World? I always come back from time to time reminding you why I called it that way. It's a very pompous title if you would say, oh, wow, we are going to change the world, or Andre is going to inspire us to do so. That's not the idea. The idea is that we don't realize that we do change the world most of the time. And there is a mission for every single individual on this planet, and we are over 7 billion people, 7.5 billion people, that everyone, each one, would have an opportunity to change the world. And it is true that it happens. It suffices, right, that you change lives, one life. You inspire someone. When I hear as a coach that someone is going through a breakthrough, which I heard yesterday, or has an epiphany about something because we are discussing and dig into something, and thanks to the coaching, coaching is an art, let's call it this way, but there is also methods, there is skills, there is training, hours and hours of coaching, and hundreds of clients accumulated over the years give you, in fact, a certain agility to ask the question or to read sometimes what someone doesn't say, the unspoken, as we say, right? Or between the lines. It's true. I'm hearing very often something that people don't realize they're saying, or the story behind what they're saying. And sometimes just triggering that with a good question will make that person realize something. And yes, it will be an epiphany. And yes, it will be a breakthrough. And maybe the seed of something new for that person to transform something or change a habit. I think that's the essence of coaching, really. Not mentoring, not consulting, coaching, not advising, not prescribing, just developing the person, helping the person to develop him or herself or a team of people. And through the dynamics of what they're going through, the energies also, I'm very much into feelings and energies. I really think that people really can discover a lot of things over a period of time. I think a minimum engagement for coaching is probably 6 months, because less than that, you can't really build very much, not only the relationship with your coach, but definitely the momentum that you need to get to your discovery. All right. So there's two other housekeeping things I want to say. First, you can always send a comment that I won't see this time because I'm on Zoom, not on LinkedIn, or not on Restream, sorry. And secondly, Restream is in the back end, but I am not live on Restream. I'm live on Zoom. And secondly, another thing I want to say is that you can also see this streaming as a podcast. Why? Why? Because it's a start of something new. We are going to get much more interviews. As you know, from time to time, I have a guest here, and we're going through different things that these people can share, and their testimonial, their witness, their lives are the best illustration for what I'm trying to convey to you. But when there is no guest for logistical reasons, I don't have just the time to produce this, and I don't have a producer right now, but I'm looking for one. Then we'll have more guests, and the guests are probably the best kind of format I can get for this podcast and this live event. All right. And last but not least, I remind you of the website, which is www.coachingpath.com or andrepolitzer.com. And the second thing I want to also say is that on YouTube, where we are broadcasting to, I really, really ask you and invite you to subscribe. And on LinkedIn, to subscribe to the newsletter. So, all of these things are taking time, resources, and I hope well invested so that you can benefit from it. Okay? That's all I wanted to say. It took 6 to 8 minutes, but I think it was worth trying to reminding you and reconnecting because we are now entering the new fall season coming up. And wanted to start that with an incredible, theme that I feel is almost dominant in everything that we're discussing when it's about leadership. And it's about trust. Trust. It's not the first time, right? And so many books and so many, Stephen Covey especially did tremendous jobs in his 7 Habits and other kind of, fantastic books that he wrote or methods that he developed. And you can see and find over the internet, probably on Amazon, but there is a very comprehensive package of different content that he developed, especially about building trust. Why trust? Well, how can you lead and obtain from a team of people anything if it's not with a minimum amount of trust? How can you have a relationship with anyone, even in your sales position, your business development position, your management and managerial position? How can you perform anything if there is not a minimum amount of trust? And I was really, for years and years, looking for what is the root of that trust. And you know what it is? Because today it's even more difficult than ever. And that's why I will come back to this theme more often than usual. Because what's probably challenging all of us is the amount of lies, manipulations there is out there in the news and in politics. It's a horrible world. I've never seen such a thing. In fact, I'm completely turned off. I am not interested in the politics. Very much not interested in the elections in the United States because I feel that it's about wrestling. It's about insulting the opponent for 2 candidates. It's destroying the other. It's the whole game. And I just don't think it's about America. It's not about the American people. It's not about the real purpose of a country or what a future president should do and care about. How can I trust that process if they are fighting with each other the way they do? It's dirty, it's vulgar, and I'm not looking forward to anything about this. So it comes to me from time to time. I'm not saying that I'm completely turned off the channel of news for about the election, but I'm pretty very connected to my own judgment, very much so, and not getting influenced by anything. I don't think I do get influenced by anything. I am my values. I came to this country, years ago from another country, and my parents came to France where I was born from another country. So I'm pretty much a second generation and third and fourth and fifth and I don't know how many more of those that are wandering around the world and the planet and always emigrate and always find another place for a reason or another. Sometimes it's an exile, sometimes it's whatever it is, but it is an exile for sure. But it is also sometimes to become a refugee because you are in a country where you have a dictator or you have your life is threatened. And I came to this country here, the US, because I think that of any countries in the world, that was the one where I could educate my children, have freedom of many things, build up my own company, having a mindset of growth and being free to grow. And with my growth, make other people grow and make my country grow. That's for me politics, right? This would be the only politics I would really be focusing on. Who is the leader who could really help me maintain this philosophy? Anyway, that's what I think is my core value, to make it simple, because we don't have much time. And it's not the topic I wanted to address today, but trust, trust. That's why I'm mentioning this, is because we are in a cloud, in a very dark cloud around the world today, and trust is probably the dominant value. I cannot build anything. I cannot be the best of myself if around me I don't have people I can trust. So if I'm the leader or if I'm led, it doesn't mean it doesn't really matter too much on which side I am. But the most important thing that I want to say is that what is the root? What is the root of trust if it's not authenticity? If it's not about someone in front of me that is real, even virtually, right? Because this is the other obstacle. We created layers and layers and layers of clouds that make it more ambiguous, more uncertain. And really, the uncertainty that most of the people feel is because they can't trust the system where they are, because they invested themselves in something, they've been working 30 years more in a company, and then they start to get the pink slip and have to leave because it's a layoff and it's an economical layoff, and the company has all the good reasons to lay that person off. But this person invested, this person relied on it. So his trust falls apart completely. His trust was not illusion. It was based on facts. There was really a lot of facts and repeated facts and consistencies, that algorithms, if you want, that created that trust. Because when things repeat themselves, the way or a way or another, by the way, but on the positive side, when it repeats itself, that person is reliable, that person is holding his words, is making real. This leader, when they say something, when he says something, she says something, they hold their promises. That's something that builds trust, but it's still not the root, I think, of the trust. My view of the root of trust is caring, is in fact an energy, a proactivity, an initiative that the leader always and constantly take to care. What does it mean? It's a lot of boundaries, a lot of efforts. It's a constant, infinite amount of sweat and efforts, much harder than, in fact, any race or the Olympics performance. If you would have a gold medal of leadership, you would be the person who cares the most on this planet for other people. I think this is humanity. I think this is about values like that. It's about giving. A leader has to give, protecting your back, being concerned about your own all the time, talking about yourself and being self-centered is not going to make you a trustworthy person. Whoever you can think of now who are leaders or want to be leaders, who are always talking about themselves and always centering everything and all their attention about themselves. And when you are with them and they talk about themselves, are not people you can trust. I can tell you that. It's a good sign. It's a good reference you can rely on. And you will see that if that person is behaving that way, be very cautious. That person is not trustworthy. But if that person is sincerely, authentically interested in you and cares about you, your development, your future, then everything opens up. We can lead, we can coach, we can discuss, we can have a same level conversation. There's no hierarchy in me being in relationship with you. Intimidation, by the way, which is a very common feeling of people who have to present something or attend a meeting where there is all these big titles, and that person is just a director or a senior manager in an organization, but is going to be sitting along with in a room the VP of this, the EVP of that, the C of that, and the CEO is going to be, or she's going to be very intimidated. This intimidation is so limiting, limiting. What I'm trying to say about intimidation is that do not be desperate about how you feel when you feel that way, because it's most of the time due to the leader and the leaders and the culture of the company, how those people established, how people communicate with each other. And if it's about hierarchy, if it's about power, again, if it's about me, and again, me, and what is in it for me, and if it's beneficial for me or not, or can I protect my back or not, or should I? All these things that people think about, and these are even in their subconscious because they got so used to function that way, are not people we can trust, and they're not going to inspire trust. So it's going to create all kinds of feelings like being very intimidated because you don't know where you are. You're in a space that is very, very tricky, very unreliable. You can't control anything. It's not familiar to you. It's not warm. It doesn't feel familiar. When you are with people who are inspiring that to you, you're not in front of the right people. Now, sometimes we don't have the choice. Okay, that's right. I need a job. I found a job. I have a good salary, or I have at least what I need to pay my bills. Now, why do I have to judge or judge, measure how much a person is trustworthy or not? That's a good thing. That's a good point. But then we are getting into compromises. We're gonna get into things that we have to live with, constraints. And as we know it, then we have a chance, a great chance, to be happy and function in a dysfunctional environment. That's where all these terminologies of politics come into play, the corporate politics. And when you want to gravitate, the echelons of levels of leadership in an organization, you have to play a lot of those things that are not definitely things that you like or are really along with your core values. I'm not saying you should give up on your values. God forbid. I'm saying there is a system. You want to cope with the system. You want to comply. You want to follow. You want to, you want to align yourself. Then that means you keep your core values, but you have to play some games. It doesn't mean you have to be not yourself, but you have to play some games, meaning I accept that I don't trust this person. I accept that I don't trust this system. And all I'm trusting is me. And I trust myself and maybe my team and the people that report to me. That makes it a little complicated, really. You're creating no silos, but you're creating your space, a safe space. We call it psychology safety. Psychological safety means I'm the leader, I'm given an ownership, at least of my team. My team needs to perform, for example, right? And we have very clear objectives and KPIs, key performance indicators. We have those metrics, very clear, and that's called expectations. And from this, we compare and we see how people perform, and we have those reviews meetings and all of that. So these things can be very square, very organized with a good framework. All of that is what the system is about. But it doesn't mean, though, that you should be completely giving your full trust and be open and give yourself up completely to that system. No, no. It means that you're functioning, you, in a system that is not necessarily functioning well, doesn't have the values and don't share the values that you have, based on trust, for example, being truthful, being caring for people. That is your choice. That's your leadership style. That's how you're going to really apply your leadership. That's you. That's your world. And your world is yours. That means it cannot be influenced by that. When I have to communicate something that HR wants me to communicate, if I have to apply a rule, a policy that HR wants me to apply, as long again as it's okay with my values, then I can function in a dysfunctional environment. But trust with a capital T is something that is personal, is something that you put at the highest level of values, and that's how you're going to have a good relationship with your boss or with the people that work for you. So I think that, I wanted to say a few things about those things, and that's what I wanted to say. That doesn't mean, again, that what I'm saying is true, as to be applicable the way I say it. It's not a template. I'm sharing more about the stories that I hear and what we sometimes miss, sometimes don't understand why we behave this or that way, why we are intimidated, why do we feel unsafe? Because really, we're not in a very safe environment. What do you do then? Well, you take care of yourself too. That means I'm backing up everything. I document everything. It's not fun, right? I'm going to be always open to the market in case I lose my job. I have some backup over there, etc., etc. So it makes you a reliable person. You have totally full integrity to the employer you work for. You are part of a board, you are at the highest level even of the hierarchy, still you're accountable to something, to the board, to investors, to shareholders. You're accountable. And your accountability is what you are very trusted for, and that's what your integrity is about. But trusting people, trusting the system, trusting the leaders around you, that's only if they deserve your trust. And it's also the source, the root of this being caring, which I said earlier, is that, yeah, if those people are givers, are humanists who have interest in making the world a better place. And I think I'd say that very generically. I know, well, I don't have the time to get too much in the weeds here, but I'm just giving you a little bit of the structure of my mind when I talk about trust, especially in a professional setting. So I think it's about authentic caring. It's real leadership. It's about genuinely caring for the team. It's the means to listen deeply, actively, to offering support without conditions, without boundaries, almost. It's giving your full attention to someone, undivided attention. It's to have your open door policy, but real being very open, being ready, in fact, to be interrupted if someone has an urgency to talk to you and is someone you know, someone who relies on you as the boss, as the leader, to stop everything you do because this person has an urgent thing to carry. And you tell everybody around you, even the CEO, that I'm sorry, I have a team member who needs me right now. It's an emergency. I have to stop everything I do. I'll come back to you as soon as I'm done, but I take care of him or of her. So that's now number one. Two, because we have 3 minutes left. Greatness. Greatness. Do you want greatness in your life? Do you want to connect to things that are meaningful, that have a purpose? Do you have a purpose? Do you make it clear to the people who work for you or with you about the purpose, their mission, what's expected of them? Is it clear? Their role, is it clearly defined? Do they know each other's roles when it's a team, when they collaborate? That's called really intentional greatness. I have an intention, a sincere, authentic intention to actively work on being present and intentional, that they don't wait to trust, for trust to happen. They don't wait for trust to happen. They intentionally cultivate the trust by showing up that trust with purpose and clarity. That's, I think, intentional greatness. You connect to greatness and you make people around you connect to greatness. Greatness. I give, I care. I give, I care. Root of trust. Because if it's something that is part of you, it's going to show all the time. And this algorithm, this repetition, this pattern of being reliable, of being sincerely giving, sincerely caring, each time there is a situation, makes you who you are. That's your brand. That's who you are. That's how you offer your leadership to the people around you. I think it's the ideal world, yes, but there is people like that. And I really feel that when they connect to this greatness kind of level, they really want it for themselves. Or they realize that they should make some changes and transformations because they're really too self-centered. They didn't intend to, they don't want to be bad, but they're really self-centered. The way they functioned until now was always that way. The mindset was always that way. It's difficult to change it, difficult to transform it. We need to practice a lot of things in coaching. Practice and practice and practice. I always take the example of a violinist because it's one of the most difficult musical instruments. I think, you take any virtuoso out there, how many hours a day they work on this instrument to provide a concert like they do and a performance like they do. It's probably 10 to 15 or 20 hours a day on this instrument, so that it's almost part of their body. If you really watch sometimes how they play, this like Perlman, or it's mind-boggling. And finally, there is a contrast I want to mention to close this you change the world of today, and this is the contrast between politicking and self-protection, politicking in a company and self-protection. That many leaders spend too much time protecting their backs and engaging in office politics. They think it's important. They think it's dominant. They think they must leave everything and run to the second floor, where now there is a meeting they need to attend and show their face for, because otherwise they're losing an opportunity. And if it's not the case, they need to try. It's crazy. Their mind is always occupied about being in the right place at the right moment, saying the right word. And they will see very, very quickly, if they are immature about this, that it's a waste of time and a waste of effort. Anyway, many leaders do that, focusing on self-preservation, and that erodes trust, and it makes teams feel disconnected from their leaders. So those are very core values, and I really think that I wanted to make these points very clear today, because it's starting a new season. We're back from some people, and many of you, from vacation, from a week or two, from being away, and now things are kicking up again. And I want to wish you, all of you, to be trustworthy and to create trust around you, to care, to transform many things that you have in your mind into giving. You will see that it's coming back to you always as a reward. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be here back next week and looking forward to it. Thank you. A good weekend to all.